Around live people.
It's official.
We're live.
Let them get set down.
Andrew, this just came in today. We're not discussing it tonight.
You didn't give me one. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Unless there's somebody online that doesn't know us, I'm not going to go around with the introductions. Just when you speak, the consultants, you could say your name. First, we're going to review the minutes from January.
I just want to say this is the first time I ever did minutes, so I apologize.
There's a misspelling in the Howlett Hill Road entry. Needs to be logging and road impact.
Oh, and A and D, not A and G.
Down
Oh,
here. Kind of thing you just read over. And then under the conservation and management plan that we voted on, there's very, very specific wording that we read in. So I'm going to just give Bonnie a copy of what, of the wording that was in the letter that we sent, and she will enter that into that space. About where we spoke about the landfill solar mitigation parcels. Any other changes?
I just wondered, did you know me? I was just wondering, where it says Steve and Tyler, if we should just add Summers Road.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Not those.
What's this environmental education facility?
Something I brought up just as a thought, you know, when we make this conservation land everywhere, if we could somewhere down the road, build like a room like Forest Park has it, they have like a training facility.
Like a space that people could use for, to meet classes or stuff like that.
And they do like schooling stuff to help learn more about the environment.
We're just talking forward about other things that the commission can be involved with when they're managing conservation properties. And we do it cooperatively with the land trust, and they take most of the load. But a lot of conservation commissions do a great deal of planning, and we certainly could do a lot more.
Where would the funding come from for that?
Well, the reason I brought that up is in case, because we were talking about the land behind the dump there. You know, if, when we word it, if we were to word it for a educational, environmentally, you know, I'm thinking like a little log cabin thing that blends in, you know.
In
we
that
can have
particular
education.
case, we can't because it's mitigation properties, so it's
No.
all for turtles. And
Yeah, no, we
can't-
just brought it up for that, but I was
Anything
saying any
like
other land in the future, or something like a thought of an educational.
It's worth
facility.
looking at all the parcels we haven't seen, if there's a
yes,
place.
because
could
we
put
even
one.
discussed the parking area up on South Road to get up to Minichog Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think there's several possibilities.
Would this have to go before the selectmen?
Oh, yeah, this is like,
This is just high level. We were talking about future
aspirational
stuff.
discussion. Certainly not anything that's in the works at all.
You want to take it on?
Log cabin, huh?
No, I was just saying, because that's what Forest Park has. They have a beautiful little log cabin and all the school departments. Yeah, right by the lake.
That's been there.
Yeah, that's been there forever, but they converted it and added an
Yeah,
addition
right.
to it to make it a
Right.
full educational
Yeah.
facility.
We used to have something like that at Laughing Brook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
Yeah.
sort of, you know, Doesn't have to be as big a facility, but
Yeah.
something in the thought for the future.
Any other changes?
Nope.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved.
We might want to do this one first.
Okay. I wanted to make a couple of mentions. We talked about the fact that we lost our circuit rider, Mark Stinson, and also his supervisor. Blanking on the name right now.
Dave Cameron.
Dave Cameron, yes. And almost concurrently, we also lost the regional director, David Poulis, who retired. So all of the go-to people just disappeared overnight. And I was sending notes requesting guidance for a couple of things. And I finally got back a listing of 3 people that they're putting in that they've just hired. But there's still officially nobody in David Poulis's place. So you just call that office and they'll tell you what to do, I guess.
And there's no official circuit rider for us either, right?
There's no. They did give us one of the people that they just hired, Tom Guskos, I think is how you pronounce it. He has a lot of experience. He's just not a circuit rider. But that's the person we're supposed to contact. So I wanted to make sure you had his name.
I think you all got that email, didn't
Mhm.
you?
Okay, it's on that email. So just make sure you write down he's at mass.gov and there's a phone number there. So that's, if you would have been contacting Mark, that's who you would contact. Complicated. Okay, I was going to do lot 2, but I think maybe it's smarter to do 132 Allen Street first because that'll be a little faster. This is a proposal for ground-mounted solar.
Yeah, so we've never built a ground mount in Hamden, so I just wanted to come in and make sure that we're following all of the requirements. I know that there's the general bylaws and I think the zoning laws on the website, but it just seems so much information.
Yes,
So I just want to make sure that we're following all the rules and regulations and we don't miss anything outside of the standard building and electrical permit.
right.
I know that there's the setbacks for the ground mount, and when I don't remember who I spoke to on the telephone, but I don't think that they could remember if it was 100 feet or 200 feet from the ground mount to the wetlands, or possibly.
It depends where you are. For bordering vegetated wetlands, it's 100 feet, but for
Okay.
riverfront, it's 200 feet. So
Okay.
you've got a property that a huge part of it has riverfront
Yeah.
sticking into it. The only part that really is accessible is to the right of the house at the front and way towards the back. Do you know how to get a map off the GIS system?
So I do actually, but yeah, right now it looks like we have the ground mount. It looks like it's 132 feet from the ground mount to that river. So,
That puts it in kind of maybe territory.
yeah.
So what you would have to do is convince us and DEP that there's no possible other place to put it, that it
Okay.
has to go there. And the reasons you can use are a major change in expense or inability logistically to do it out of that space. Otherwise, if it's just because it's going to cost a little more to run the underground wiring a little farther, that's not a good enough reason.
No,
So-
I mean, it looks like there's tons of space.
There is, I've been to that
Huge
property, we went to
property.
that property a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They
And-
looked at solar before.
Yeah, and it seemed to us that there was plenty of
Yeah.
room near the back. You might have to cut a couple of trees.
Yeah,
which
I
would
mean,
be
normally,
allowable.
normally ground mounts are placed based on where the resident wants it put, but obviously we need to follow the regulations.
Yeah,
and the
they're
zoning
in a
bylaws.
very limited property. There's also natural heritage over to the side at the front of their property.
So
Priority
is it
habitat.
200 feet?
200
Okay.
feet. All of, there is a 100-foot riparian area and a 200-foot riparian area, but all of it is considered resource area, which means all of it, they try to keep things out of really sincerely. The buffers for things sometimes can be intruded on because all you have to show is that nothing's going to go into the wetland.
Yeah,
But you really should try to avoid that. If you find that you absolutely can't and still have a reasonable project, then write down the reasons why.
okay.
Anybody else have anything to add?
So the steps, if they absolutely cannot put it anywhere else, were just to write down the reasons why.
Yeah, especially if there's some logistical reason, like if it can't possibly point the right direction from back there or something like that. I think we decided before that it could, so you'd have to have a pretty good reason.
Okay,
Still have to fill out all the paperwork.
Yes,
So-
you still have to complete an RDA,
okay,
And we should do a site inspection.
and we should do a site inspection. So you arrange that with Bonnie in the Conservation Office.
okay.
Have you done an RDA before?
What does it stand for?
Request for determination of applicability?
No.
Okay, so if you go to our Conservation Commission website,
Okay,
on the town website, which is hamdenma.gov,
okay,
go to the Conservation Commission, and on the left-hand side, there are places you can click and you can actually get the RDA. And it has instructions right in it.
okay.
If you have questions, call Bonnie. She's been doing this forever.
And that would be the same documentation. You would write up why it has to be.
Yeah, there's
In that
places
area,
in there
so
where you can
not separate at all.
complete it. If you have a question about which boxes to check and stuff, just check with her.
Okay, so essentially building permit, electrical permit, RDA, and then try to place the ground mount somewhere that's within those.
Try to find someplace that's
Yeah.
outside that green checked area, essentially.
Okay,
If you have to put it there, it's possible, but DEP will really give you a hard time.
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
And you need to also make sure that you include drawing the power, where the power line's going to go that
Yes,
goes to
we
it.
do
People always
have-
leave that out.
It looks like we have the poles
Yeah.
marked.
Are you running
Generally-
poles from the solar to the house or underground?
I'm sorry, what?
You running poles overhead to the house
Poles?
from the solar?
No, trenching,
Pardon?
trenching.
Trenching,
You're trenching,
usually.
Yes. so we
Yeah.
need to know
I missed that.
instructions.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Basically, if you're obviously way away from the wetlands and the river, we won't make you do a delineation. If you get up into that riverfront area, we're going to end up having to have you hire a consultant who will do a
Okay.
delineation and determine exactly where the river and the riverfront is and all of that.
That's through like a site assessment essentially. to do-
Yeah, you pick an environmental consultant. Heather's one,
Yeah, the lady sitting right here.
so
Oh, Okay,
she does that. So,
She's here for a different thing,
okay,
Yeah.
but that's her job.
okay, so why don't we first try to locate. or try
yeah,
to
if
put
you
the
can do
ground
it
mount
outside,
somewhere
it's
else
just easier.
Along with the RDA, we'll start there.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if the client needs to cut a tree, they'll have to cut a tree.
What kind of level of mapping they're gonna have to give us? Is-
Well, we need a really good map, but like I
That's
said,
fine.
if it's really obviously in this open area, we're not gonna make you do a delineation, but if you want to get anywhere close up to that, to the riverfront or to the wetlands or any of that, then
And by
we'll
the
have to.
delineation, mean hiring.
Yeah,
someone
you need to
do
hire
that.
somebody like her, then she goes and she does soil samples and looks at what's
Okay.
growing there and all sorts of stuff and decides where the edge of the wetlands really is
Okay,
and marks that all for you with flags.
okay. Okay, That sounds great.
You might want to pick up her card on your way.
It's a process.
There's probably 6 different people you could pick from, but she's one that's in the area.
Okay. Do you have just a website?
No.
Telephone number?
I have a telephone number.
Okay,
I'm really small.
that's
It's just
okay.
me. I don't even know if I have a card on me.
Now, I want you aware that it's a process, like once you
Oh, okay. I
file,
used to work for Community Solar, so I completely understand
Okay.
that the process
Yeah,
is
it's
gonna
long,
take-
lots of paperwork. Do you
it won't be
also-
happening next month.
No.
Yeah, the most complicated part is making sure the RDA is right and the map is good. And then getting it to Bonnie so she can get it published. That used to take about 10 days, but it's taking more like 3 weeks now.
Okay,
And so if you turn it in the first of the month, it's
You're
very
talking
hard to get it published
the
before the
processing
meeting
of the
date. So
RDA paperwork. Okay, so 3 weeks.
give yourself at least 3 weeks before we,
Okay.
our meetings are on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. We occasionally have special meetings, but not unless we're having it for some critical reason.
You said third
The
Wednesday?
3rd Wednesday at 6.
Okay.
So, you can use those for target dates, and if you're, a little more than 3 weeks before that, then you probably can make it at that next meeting.
Okay, do you have, so you're talking about a detailed map, is there a checklist somewhere in those zoning bylaws? that
No,
PDF
the main
file?
thing is just to make sure you have a drawing of what the installation itself is going to look like, the dimensions, how it's going to enter the ground. Are
Yeah, I
you going to
think
have
that-
it on
I mean,
posts?
I'm sure all of that information is,
Yeah, I like
I mean,
that.
we have all the specifications, how it's, what's being used.
Yes,
Here, this is the map that we have now.
and then you need a really good indication, with measurements and stuff on this kind of map. This is your map, actually, you can just take
Okay.
it. So you want to draw in here the dimensionally, how far from this border to this border. and all
Yeah, so
that
this is
stuff.
what we have now,
Okay,
but obviously we can create a more
Yeah.
detailed map if you want.
no,
more
that looks
information.
pretty good. If you've got the dimensions here, and you need to show the trenching,
Okay,
where the trenching would go.
Okay.
So that we can
so
just
just
see
add
that.
the trenching to it.
That's better. So you can lay that on top of that other drawing in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal way.
It'd be great.
Yeah, we can do that. That seems easy enough.
Now, have you seen any of the other departments yet, like building?
No, nope.
Because you have to see them too,
Who?
like building, that wouldn't they have to? have a
Oh,
building?
yeah, yes,
Yeah,
of course
all the
you
normal
need to
stuff.
pull a building permit and
Right.
electrical permit, but
Yeah.
I.
These
figured
days, they're saying go to Concom
I
first.
need to
so-
start with the
makes
conservation
sense.
department because I figured that was gonna be the longest
Mm.
process.
Yeah, pretty much is.
Okay,
It's not super long, but it takes a good,
yeah,
because of publication, we have to publish it as a public hearing,
of course.
and we have to
And,
visit the site.
do you need us to contact any of the neighbors with statements? and
Yeah,
anything
in the
like
RDA, it asks you to notify the abutters.
that? Okay. Okay.
We reduced that. I don't remember what we, with Tim was here.
Do you want, I think normally it's 10. Just the main people around it.
Yeah, it's how many feet?
Is it
300
Is it
feet?
300
I
feet?
think it's 300 feet.
I don't know, I
300
thought
feet.
I thought we
Tim,
reduced it.
I thought Tim
I thought we
reduced it.
reduced it just to the abutters.
Yeah,
Yes,
That's what we did. We just
Okay.
remote it to
Because I think
anybody
I
for
that.
the RDA, it's just the direct abutters.
In the
just-
zoning bylaws on the website.
if your land is touching their land.
Yeah, we revised that a little while ago, and it got confusing.
Okay, so just the abutters.
For us, but the other department, they have something different.
Yep, just conservation. Okay. Okay, so I'll look at the RDA and I'll see if I have any other.
And there's no fee for us for the RDA, but when we do the publications, they send the bills directly to you or them, whichever you want,
Yeah, it would. come.
the bills for the newspapers.
Yep, okay, so the RDA is gonna outline all of that. Okay, okay.
Or call Bonnie.
Okay, well, I'm resourceful. I'll try to figure it all out based on that paper before I call Bonnie. I think that's it. I think so.
Okay.
Anything else?
You think, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
good
Okay.
luck. And feel free to call.
Yeah, I'm there
Or email.
every morning.
We answer emails faster than phone calls
That's
probably.
good to know. I mean, I have to say, I've been working with solar for 3 years and the amount of effort it takes to get in touch, especially once the pandemic hit, to get in
Yeah.
touch with people in townships.
I like emails because you can do it
Okay, awesome.
back and
All
forth.
right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for checking in.
Yeah.
Of course,
It helps.
yes. I know that there are rules and regulations, especially with the conservation department when it comes to ground mounts. So I just wanted to make sure I was following everything. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Night. Okay, Lot 2 Scantic Road.
Go back that way.
Either way, just go that direction.
Wait.
You can go up or down, doesn't matter.
Go west.
And then take a left. And then you'll get the stairs to get up to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to make a presentation first?
Open the meeting.
Oh, yes, let's open the hearing for parcel 09046-002. The new DEP number is WE 1730232. This is the Scantic Road, Lot 2. That was part of the Bonjourni parcels that were all cut up. It's between the old Bonjourni property and the Strange property that we've been working with recently.
I'm Heather Comey, wetland consultant. Filed a request for, or a notice of intent for property on Scantic Road. We call it Lot 2. To start off with, I did file a request for a certificate of compliance. As mentioned in the DEP comments, and I've got 3 copies for the commission.
Thank you. All right, do you want us to deal with that first and then we'll get that out of the way?
Sure.
That's good too. Okay. There was the original orders of condition was written for Bonjourni. It passed through another owner since then, and then it passed to Todd. So, and somebody in between, who I don't remember the name of, started with a C, did work on the property under the OOC. They did installed some permanent barriers. They got it flagged. They cleared the trees. And that was pretty much as far as they got.
Did they get the lolly columns in that, or was it the other place next door they did?
There are no.
They were
permanent
supposed to put them
monuments.
there.
Thermal.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were
they're-
supposed to. I think that's exactly where they stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And there are some piles of fill.
Yes.
Along the front.
there was a report along the way, before we even knew that the property had traded hands, that there was some dumping, some fill being dumped on the property.
Oh, that was-
And we sent a
Violation.
violation.
Mass Highway knew about it.
Um,
Long ago.
Yeah,
Just
Mass
let
Highway.
them know.
Everybody seemed to know, but because everybody goes by on that road.
The trail.
Well, it
Um,
was a trail. They filled it on these islands and dumped all the way out. All the way to that.
Yeah, so, but we did send a violation and the owner stopped right away and agreed to comply with filing an NOI and everything. So that, that will essentially was taken care of by the filing of the NOI. The one issue is whether anything went into any of the wetlands, and that would be something you would have seen when you were demarcating reflagging it.
I didn't see any erosion into the wetlands. The silt fence was put up, but it is falling down in multiple places.
So I'll have to get it back up.
Yeah,
But there
a
wasn't
new
any
one-
fill outside of the silt fence or
No,
anything like that?
no.
All right, so I think we can just consider that dealt with by this.
And it's all vegetated now. Like after it was cut, there's successional growth, vegetation coming up.
So there will be some pruning that'll have to get done and that sort of thing.
Well, they'll have to, before he gets a permit, he's gonna have to, bring excavators and regrade and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
The original silt fence was done very poorly.
Yeah, so that's good.
A lot of places it was not dug in or barely dug in. In many places, they didn't move down trees. Limbs kind of went over. It was very poor.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass to
Do
you.
you
This is,
remember when you made that? Yeah.
This is what?
this is essentially some of the wording that's in the orders of conditions that I
At least a
proposed.
year, if not more. It
Just
was
so
way
that,
before COVID.
okay.
You mean for the.
In the, I mean, in the
certificate?
certificate of
Yeah, it may have
compliance,
been that
very
long.
sorry.
I say it's at least 3.
2018.
So the old order of conditions number
No idea.
was 1730208. And we would like to close that by virtue of this certificate of compliance. And what I have entered into it is the original natural heritage determination, and which was much longer than the one they just issued you, which was interesting. And no, I took that out. I put in the new one. And this paper, so I'm having trouble. Where's the one I sent you? Is it written in here?
No, I didn't, that's one.
Oh,
No,
here.
written everything.
I don't have a copy of the wording I sent you.
We're looking for wording for what?
The one for the certificate of compliance.
No. I was just-
Nope, I grabbed the wrong one. That's the orders. Nope, I've lost my copy. Oh, okay, here it is. All right, it's going to say, under section B, which is the important part that says what's been done and what hasn't. At the top, it's going to say, it is hereby certified that a portion of the authorized preparation work was completed by the previous owner to whom the orders were issued, and some work not authorized by the conditions, specifically unauthorized dumping of materials by the new owner, commenced in non-compliance with the order of conditions. That non-compliance, this is all in bold, this part, has been satisfactorily resolved by agreement of the new owner with the Hamden Conservation Commission to submit a new NOI, CWE 173-0232, and obtain an updated natural heritage determination. And it was updated to exactly the same number. So it's the same as the old number for the same project locus. As this order of conditions has expired, the issuing authority, Hamden Conservation Commission, hereby certifies that the order of conditions will be considered satisfactorily completed. And we have also made an entry under partial certification that only the following portions of work regulated by the above referenced order have been satisfactorily completed. The project areas are work subject to this partial certification that have been completed or released from this order are original silt fence installation, and clearing of the lot. No future work subject to regulation under the Wetlands Protection Act may commence without completed filing of the new notice of intent and receipt of the new order of conditions. Any questions, changes, issues? Okay, so that will close out
I could probably.
the old order of conditions. All in, we need a motion.
Make a motion to accept what you just read.
To approve the certificate of compliance
Yep.
for, whatever that number was,
Lot 2.
for Lot 2, Scantic Road, parcel,
Number 173-0208.
right,
That's the old one.
That's
parcel
old, right?
09046-002, as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll get that signed tonight and then she'll type it together and get it out to you. Unless you want to come pick it up, I presume you want it now.
Oh, that would be.
This is signatures.
When did the property change hands?
It changed in 2016
18.
and then again in 2018.
All right.
Okay.
So you bought it from Eddie Santiago, I think. And he had bought it from Bongiorni.
So these order and conditions went back to.
These orders go back to Bongiorni. They were still,
They're still outstanding, so now we're.
yeah, they actually expired in, I don't know, because if there's tolling during the pandemic, but somewhere in the last year or two, they expired. So now we will look at. Yes, we'll look at the new NOI and Heather will tell us about that.
Do you have plans? Do you want me to hold up the plans or?
I think everybody got a copy of. the
Well, there
NOI.
was 6, right? 6
I have.
plans, I think. you said?
Yeah. I think we all have plans. Did you get some, Greg? Okay. Here, you can take my small plan. Is there anybody online that needs? I have it in my hand. I have an extra big copy. It's in my head, so I know. I've looked at this for thousands of times.
John.
Okay. All right, Heather.
So we filed a notice of intent. It's for a single family home proposed within the 100-foot buffer zone and all the associated work, such as a septic system, well, driveway, lawn area, and grading. Source areas on site consist of bordering vegetated wetland. There is the Scantic River, 200-foot riverfront area. The riverfront is about 700 feet or so from the limit of work line. So 100-year floodplain that has also been shown on the plans, and that does not extend onto the developable upland area. As we had discussed, this was also proposed with similar, it was back in 2016, it was a notice of intent proposing a single family home and same stuff. And the limit of work line is the same. It's at the commission's 25-foot no disturb zone. This proposal has the actual house that the owner would like to construct versus the last proposal was a square box and
Yes.
they were gonna fit it within that area. The permanent limit of work line will be marked with permanent monuments at all the bends. It is located within Mass Natural Heritage's estimated and priority habitat. We refiled with them because their permit expires after 5 years. And they issued a no-take determination and there were no conditions on it. Presumably because I think it was for climbing fern. And it's, once the lot was cleared and they did a site inspection, herpetologist did a site inspection and checked for climbing fern. There were no climbing fern on the site and that's a slow growing plant. So it wouldn't just
Wouldn't
migrate there
migrate.
over the last 5 years.
Also, one of the reviewers, our peer reviewer, actually did the entire property looking for the fern, so it wasn't likely there to jump in. So I think it's considered good habitat, but nobody actually found one.
Yeah, and it was also peer reviewed, like you said, at the 2006 or 2016 submittal. It was peer reviewed and the wetland line hasn't changed. I didn't find all of the wetland flags, but I did reflag it and it was surveyed and they all fall along the same area. And there were 2 comments on DEP's comments. It was one, wait for Mass Natural Heritage, which we received, and also filing a certificate of a request for a certificate of compliance, which you guys just addressed. And that's about it.
Okay. I think you've answered all my questions. Now, Greg, I don't think you've been out there.
Septic tanks going in. 1,500 and 1,000.
Yeah, it looks to me like there's 2 tanks. There's a lower one and then they pump it. It's a very sloped property. They're putting in one near the house and then pumping it up to a larger receptacle. It's like a total of like 4,000 gallons, but with the 2 tanks. But I think that's why they're doing it, is because they're getting it uphill, which is not uncommon when the house is on the downhill side of the septic system. They put it into a closed tank and they pump it to the far tank.
Gives you more capacity with. Stop working, give you enough notice.
Yeah, the downhill side one is 1,500, I think.
That's, yeah.
The original. First one's 1,500, then it goes to 1,000.
Yeah. So there will be a lot of digging in this area. They'll have to get all those big tanks in there and they have to level it out. And there will also be fill, right?
Mhm.
But all
A lot
of
of
it is
grading on
inside.
Looks
that
like an
silt
8-foot
area.
rise
So different than the fountain.
by the lines of height. It looks like it's about an 8-foot rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there going to have to be any retaining walls?
Yes.
Yeah, there's retaining walls a few places there if you
I
look.
didn't remember.
3 retaining walls proposed. One, you can see the wetland flag W7. And there
Yes.
are little circles
Yeah.
or ovals. That is a retaining wall.
This is an old thing.
And then there is another retaining wall proposed near W2. And then one by the septic system.
So so that line is the limit of work line?
The limit of work line it's aligned with.
I thought it was farther in.
This is.
Okay, so that you're gonna build a retaining wall outside the limit of work?
No, right
No,
along it.
Right along.
Oh, okay. All right.
Highlighted, makes it a little bit easier.
Right here, there's the limit of work, there's the
Right.
returning.
Oh, that's,
Just wanna make
These
sure
ovals.
everything's
those are the
inside.
ovals, okay.
See it here, there's
Got
this one. and then This one here.
So the yellow. and this
High school
right
map
here,
reading.
and these are the permanent monuments, the circles. And then these ovals.
Oh, okay, I was looking at it.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are flags.
I thought you said W7. So that would-
Yeah, so near W7.
But it's gonna be here. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I see.
Driveway.
And then there's another one over here for the grading by the septic system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Okay.
it's all within the limit of
All
work
within
line.
the. Okay.
Does anybody else want to see the highlighted?
No, I got it. Oh,
All right, I think we're gonna have to, we can have the people who haven't been there do the site visit. But I'd like to go ahead and discuss, the order of conditions, and then that'll be all settled, and we can just come back and vote and see if there's any changes. So the notes I wrote up for the order, make note of the certificate of compliance having been issued. Natural heritage response and all the different documents. And that natural heritage said it will not adversely affect the actual resource area. And then I proposed prior to the start of work, installation of all permanent boundary markers must be indicated on the proposed plot plan and their locations confirmed by GPS readings recorded on said plan, provided to the commission, according to our specifications. And we have a whole specification sheet that you can look at. The important part to point out there is after they're installed, we need somebody to get really good GPS readings off of it. I presume you have a GPS that works well. Or maybe the contractor does. But we
For the
want
permanent
those,
monuments?
yeah, we want those to get transferred onto the plan. They can be handwritten, but we just like to have them marked by the GPS marking. So you could, somewhere on the plan, you can write W7 and put the GPS next to it, or you can put it right next to the mark itself. It doesn't matter, as long as we've got those indications. People have done it different ways.
When would you need that?
Right before you start work.
So after the silt fence goes in, you install the permanent markers and then have them That would have to be done probably by Smith Associates. Because I don't have GPS.
Have them GPS added to the map, and then we come out, look at the silt barriers and go all clear.
That's actually in the
Yeah.
stuff I gave you.
I also noted prior to the start of work includes any work on the septic system or application of fill, but it is not to the installation of the permanent boundary markers. Before, that isn't considered the work. That's part of the silt barriers and all of that. Okay, prior to the start of work, The entire order of conditions, including the natural heritage determination, shall be recorded with the Hampden County Registry of Deeds so as to become a record part of the chain of title for the property. Documentation of this record must be returned to the Conservation Commission before any work proceeds. That's a DEP requirement. So,
That's not a DEP requirement to have it done before, but that's a good order of condition
Yeah.
or special condition for.
yeah, we found it doesn't tend to get recorded at all. And in fact, you'll
Most
see on
often
the order
it
of,
doesn't get recorded,
Yeah.
but if you require it before
Yeah.
construction, then are you gonna have a pre-construction meeting?
nope, just bring it to the office and she will indicate it on the file. They give you a little green card that you can bring back to the office.
Construction meetings, usually what happens there, so you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Some
actually, the
commissions do-
Bongiorni order of conditions never got recorded
Right.
because it was far enough back that we weren't making people do it before they started working.
I was just curious with the pre-construction.
So some commissions require a pre-construction meeting and then they might say, special condition number 2, 4, and 6 must be completed prior to a pre-construction meeting. And then the commission requires like 72-hour notice and say that all our pre-construction items have been addressed. And then they have a meeting on site where they look at the silt fence line and then basically sign off and say, all right, you have met all the pre-construction items and you can start work.
Yeah, we could do that if you want to.
I was just.
We do have the
I was just curious
requirement
what it
that
was.
we
don't-
give 48 hours notice to come out and check the
Yeah.
silt barriers.
Okay.
And
so
the
you
permanent
just-
markers.
You do it without a
We just don't have a formal,
formal.
and then they come back and tell the office that at least
Trying to get this all
a
together.
couple of people go and then they come back and say if they don't have any issues with it at all. And she says, yep, and it's recorded, so
Yeah, I was gonna say, trying to get us all
And it's
together to
fine.
do a
it's,
pre-construction.
yeah, we
Yeah,
have a
that
lot of
would be
working people now.
impossible.
Yeah.
But that's really, really important and we really are holding to it now, so that's important. Prior to the start of work, silt barriers must be completely installed outside all 25-foot no disturb zones and the commission notified for inspection at least 48 hours before the start of work. So that's the one we just talked about. The barriers must be maintained until the certificate of compliance is submitted and the review scheduled. So we tell you when you schedule the review to pull the barriers before we get there so that we can see that they've all been removed. But that's when you take them out. Until that time, they have to stay up.
Say that again?
Okay, when the submission is made for the certificate of compliance
Oh, okay.
and the review for that certificate of compliance is scheduled, then we will tell you to pull the barriers because they're supposed to be out when we actually do the review for the final viewing. But not until then, and they have to stay standing. If they fall down or a piece of equipment runs over them, they have to get reinstalled. Okay. Commission members must be allowed on the site as necessary to check conditions and otherwise perform their duties during construction. Any other additions to that from the commission?
Let me see this. I didn't get all that natural heritage stuff.
That's this part right here. And I wrote about it here.
Mm.
I'll re-email that if you didn't get it. I thought I did.
No, I mean, I didn't put it in.
Oh, okay. So, we won't vote on it. We'll wait till our next meeting. We'll continue. And Bonnie will schedule a site visit for the people who haven't been there. I've been there about 5 times, so I don't think.
Oh, who, it's just Randy and Tom.
I've never been.
Haven't been
And
there.
I've only been there once.
And I don't think Greg's been there,
Right.
right?
That's
Right.
right, not Randy.
Not Randy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So,
Well, I don't think Greg or Randy have been there, so.
no, so maybe you two should get together and,
Yeah, whatever.
Would you like me to walk the site with you?
If you're in the area and you want it, that's fine.
Can we schedule a site inspection, like set up a day or a time that's good?
Now, you
for-
can only do it on weekends, right?
Yeah, anytime between now and the next meeting, so.
Yeah, so
Yeah, if you want to do it on a Saturday.
Hmm.
I don't know how that works for your schedule, but.
When, do you have meetings every 2 weeks or every?
Once a
We
month.
only have, we only do if we have an overflow, it goes into the first week of the month, but otherwise it's the third week.
My next few weekends are, next 2 weeks are booked up.
Okay, so it's
Every single.
3 weeks from now, or maybe just before the meeting.
yeah.
We can do that, yeah.
No, the weather's gotta be better.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
maybe.
So
Yeah,
what
right.
date is the next meeting?
Third Wednesday?
The
next one will be
16th of
March
Third
2nd.
Wednesday. So maybe the Saturday before? Or the Sunday before, whatever's better for you.
Can you do it? I don't know if you're gonna be here. If you want to be.
The next, I'm on vacation that weekend, the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
What about the day of the meeting? Were you planning to come again?
Not unless I needed to. So I wanted, if you have no additional concerns, then I probably won't be there.
How about the weekend before then?
The 5th, I don't have anything on the 5th.
Monday's a holiday. Do it Monday.
Greg, can you do it?
That's true, too. What's coming Monday? the
Oh, I
holiday.
can't.
Okay. You're on
I moved
vacation.
my dad into
Oh,
okay. Sorry.
a old nursing home,
Oh, wow.
cleaning out his
Not
apartment.
fun,
Yeah.
No,
not fun. Can you do it that Saturday?
There's no holidays in March.
no,
No,
no, this Monday. Coming up.
President's Day.
President's
Coming
Day.
up.
Yeah. No, the prior suggestion was the
Yeah.
5th,
The 5th,
the 5th.
I
that's a
don't care.
Saturday.
Yeah. That's fine.
My schedule's super flexible.
I think Tom prefers to go early so we can go on his hiking trips.
Me too.
I have nothing
actually.
scheduled for that
I'm
day
a
yet.
morning
anyway.
person, I'm up early and
Well, I go hiking,
Yeah, how about 8, 9?
so I don't care.
I'm not a morning person.
I don't have anything scheduled. Well, it can't.
You're not a morning person?
No, I'm not a morning person.
Just
I'm up
stay up,
all night with the kids.
just stay up really
Oh.
late then, go, and then you can go to bed after the.
Yeah, there you go.
Just stay up. all
Well, you guys pick a time so she can.
so what time is
set
good
up.
for you?
night. I don't know, 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, I can. do.
On the 5th, okay. I can go with that. I'll work around it.
March 5th?
Yeah,
What's the physical address?
Doesn't have one.
it doesn't really have one.
Because it's an
Um,
undeveloped lot.
It's next to 252. It's between 252
Oh, okay.
and the Strange property.
Greg, remember the house we went to with the pool in the backyard? Or in Scanton Road?
The one in-
It's right next to it.
Yeah, it's the lot right next to it.
Oh, really?
It's one lot farther down. They're
Yes,
right parallel to each
Yeah, there were
other.
those two lots being built at the same exact time. They built that one, and then they put the pool in the back.
Yeah,
It's the one with the, like the wooden posts in the front.
He had to move all his playscape because he had
Yeah,
that.
it was placed
That
up
one
and everything.
with the chicken coop?
Yeah, he
yes.
put the playscape
Yes.
with the
It's the lot right
chickens.
next to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
It's in between 224 and 252.
right.
2.4 and 2.52.
Okay, and the only other thing is I want to make sure that it's really clear, because there were issues with the neighbor, that limit of those permanent markers mean you can't put a garden outside that line, or a playscape, or a work shed, or
Anything.
any of those things.
Yeah, we had
A
trouble with the
chicken
neighbor that
house.
says, it ain't the house I'm putting in it, and.
Yeah, you
no.
can't put anything out there, except you can walk there, you can have paths and go down to the river and all that stuff. And you can trim enough to allow you to put paths.
Unfortunately, we're a wet town.
You're very wet. So, anybody want to make a motion to continue this to the next meeting?
Make a motion to continue to the next meeting?
Second.
So WE 1730232 to continue to the third Wednesday in March, 16th at 6 o'clock. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
And seeing that the commission doesn't have any additional questions, I won't be at that next hearing, so long as these gentlemen don't have any issues with the line.
Thank you.
Mark, where the barrier, correct? The
Um,
silt fence.
Yep, and like we had talked about, have them survey where the silt fence is
Yes,
going.
right.
But this won't be until after you can get it on their job list so
Okay,
that you
'cause I'm
get.
sure it's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes,
so get
it
it on the
will
job
take a
So it's
list.
not gonna be till after the next meeting,
Right.
because you guys have to go out and some people have to see it.
Yeah, people who haven't seen the lot need to go out and see everything. And then we'll, at our next meeting, we'll vote on it. And I'm sure it will get approved
Because I will probably.
because there aren't issues.
Go
My
ahead.
question is, so have you redone the silt fences?
No, they have to be redone.
So
They have to
will
be-
they be redone by the time we go out?
No, because I have to have it surveyed, so it's
Yeah.
exactly where it's supposed to.
So how are we gonna,
They're not going out to
They're not
check
going
the
out to
silt
check the
fences.
silt
They're
fence.
going out to see the property.
just to see the
It's
property?
just this is the pre-visit. And then after you already get the orders, then fences are all perfect and your permanent markers are all perfect and the survey's done, then you call us.
And we'll go out
And we
again.
have 48 hours to come and look at it and say
Again, a
everything's
second
cool.
time.
Basically, you just want the copy from Smith that they marked everything. Yeah, I'm assuming that's through GPS, right?
They'll use survey, but they also have,
That's what you wanted, right?
they have GPS.
For those permanent
in it.
markers, we want
The
GPS
reason we want
locations.
GPS is so, in case we go out there,
Other
like some
people
other
can-
places, I can at least walk out with my cell phone and see
Yeah,
someone in the area and say, I
So
should see
that would
them
be
out
something that
here.
Smith is gonna do too, at the same time.
as long as you tell them that that needs to be done. They don't naturally do it.
No, who else am I gonna get, right?
Yeah,
'Cause they-
that's a
they do
good
that.
person to help do
They
it.
do it and you can have them, you can ask them to install the permanent monuments and, because they'll survey them in exactly where they need to be as shown on the plans. And
And then they can
after
enter
they
that on the
install
plans,
them,
those numbers.
Yep, they can.
So how many permanent markers exactly?
They have to be no farther than 50 feet apart.
You had about
Around
8 of them
the
on,
edge.
8 of them on there or so? On your-
Yeah, it's not too many.
They're on there.
And basically, the GPS lets us go back and look for them if they're in the middle of bushes or, we have had the occasion where people have run over them with their tractors or pulled them out.
So
It's
you
hard
want
to
them in when you go up, out with the silt fence.
Not the first time, but
Yeah.
yes, when we come back for the final review. of
Within the
silt
48
fence.
hours after they've been done.
Right,
You wanna see the
exactly.
Permanent markers, and you want to see,
A
See good
permanent
silt
silt,
fence.
well, semi-permanent silt fence, all done
okay,
and
well,
ready.
because they were gonna mark with flags
This is gonna be.
where the silt fence is gonna go.
Yeah.
So is it, so I don't have to have the silt fence to see, do I? Even though I'm
Yeah.
gonna use it.
Yes,
Don't call us until that
I
part
want
is,
silt fence.
is
Yes.
done.
Now,
because the problem is the one that's there, they did a very poor job of it.
So my next question to you is, you just need a silt fence, correct?
Yes.
You don't need a silt fence, hay bales and all that, just a silt fence.
Well,
It's your choice.
it's your choice and it depends on how sloped or bad your piece of property may be. If you've got a fairly steep slope, you should probably be looking at more than a silt fence in a certain area.
So,
We've just had a situation on Mountain Road where the silt fence wasn't sufficient.
because it was very steep.
Yes.
Yeah, and what happened to him was,
Right over there.
in those really big storms, all the mud came down from his septic outflow, which ran down the fence and then ran over the bottom edge of it, and that's probably cost him about $5,000
Wow.
in having to have everything resurveyed and
Yeah, I don't think it's
redrawn.
very steep there at all.
Are you gonna do the silt fence or you have?
No, I'm gonna have someone do it.
Yeah, well, the specialist should know
Yeah,
at points
they know. how to
that
do it.
is adequate for just plastic
Yeah,
and points that you need to put in some hay bales or wattles or
Or I could
something.
do that.
Yeah, the wattle thing.
that's a waddle.
Yeah, it
So I can
depends.
just put that would be sufficient too.
Yeah, that may be.
Some places, yeah.
But if you got a real steep point, that may not be sufficient. You may
Or
need
the
big
class-
hay
or
bales.
the,
It depends on your piece of property.
But these
Yeah.
is.
And if you hire a
Anyway,
good firm,
and
they
then
should
have to
know
name checks.
what they have to put in
Yes, excellent.
to keep you out of trouble.
And those silt ones, and just like now, you can see them
Yeah,
11 years later.
if we're having bad storms, then, you know, the easy thing for you to do is just run out there with some extra hay bales and double stake them right inside the fence, so it helps hold that fence down. You know, if you see that you're getting a lot of wash, just put those hay bales right in front.
She'll tell me, believe me, she'll.
And she probably
She'll let me know.
you can tell, you can say, hey, look at all this flow that you can see
Yeah, And you can
and you
just
know
stop
that's a
it.
bad spot. It's, a lot of times it's obvious.
Okay, did we vote on the continuation?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and call, if you have questions, just call Bonnie.
So you're working in the office now?
I am.
Yeah, she's never admin. Well, we lost our admin for like 2 years. Solutions, and Bonnie just finally moved to doing it.
And they keep on telling us they're gonna get a semi-professional in here, but they haven't.
Yeah, we're still gonna have Bonnie.
Bonnie is
so-
semi-professional.
Yeah, no kidding.
You
So-
have the criteria, like the credentials to do it.
I know.
It's actually a good fit.
We lost.
It really takes somebody who knows how to answer the questions.
Yeah.
You know, they have to know.
But she
something
didn't
about
want
which
the full
kind of
time. She
form
didn't
it's
want
gonna
it.
take, how do you fill it
Yeah, I
out?
know, it's a lot of
No,
work.
no,
Yeah,
and I'll never be as good as Cindy.
we would
I
happily
heard,
put Cindy
last
back, but they won't let us do that.
Diamond.
Not yet.
Someday, maybe.
Yep.
ALS.
Yeah,
Yeah, by the time I'm ready to retire.
That's right.
okay,
In a wheelchair.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have to officially close this? You have to officially close it?
We officially continued it. already.
Okay. All right, all right.
Okay. Um,
That's right, we did vote on it.
yes,
Yeah.
I have to talk about this at some point. This stuff I got today.
okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Oh, make sure you read that board handbook that came out, that everybody got a copy of,
The who thing?
the board handbook.
The handbook,
Oh,
I saw it. and-
Yeah, you need to read. They stuck some stuff in there that wasn't kind of official before, that's now official. So it's worth knowing. Like, they kind of made up some new rules about conflict of interest and stuff, so it's just
Yeah, I glanced.
worth reading. And coming in March, we're gonna have Mount Vision and the Hamden landfill. And,
Probably this new, is that a segue?
yes, that's a segue.
Right before I was leaving today, this was handed to me by the fellow that is representing Rory. And I don't even remember his last name now, doing the proposed solar on the Gaudette property on Glendale Road. And he filed an ANRAD today. Along with that, he also had, so I told him that I wanted some for everybody. So he made the maps smaller so that I believe I'll get one of these.
Okay.
So,
Small.
yeah, the
Oh.
huge ones in the office.
Legal paper.
So what happened, a short history on this is that, years ago, back in the, 80s, there was Gaudette Brothers, and they bought this property and they built a huge barn, horses, and then they had a big, track where they trained them as well. And then they're gone, and a few other people bought the property, but now it's owned by a young guy that came in, and he works for a landscape company. He bought all the land, and I don't know whether he approached Rory or it was the other way around, but they were looking to put a solar array on that piece of property. The property is very problematic. right off of Glendale Road going onto the property is a perennial stream. Feeds right into Big Brook. There's wetlands all behind where the track was. And even speaking to the wetlands person today, they're not quite sure even if this is going to be a project that they're going to be able to do. I did give him all of the Gaudette files that he read down in the Melville room. And I divided them into all the legal files and all of that. And they're gonna continue to pursue this. And so that since he filed the ANRAD, the commission is gonna have to act on it. So that I think what you're gonna have to do first is to do a site inspection out there and look at the property. And I wouldn't go by myself. I would, I could probably arrange it, and he gave me his card, and you could meet the wetlands person out there. And he even admitted that there's a lot of problems out there.
And it's 53 acres, so it's a lot.
You have to find your way back.
Yeah.
Well, just as a suggestion, if you're gonna do it fairly soon, go for that March 5th again,
Yeah, well, this is gonna take a while.
if you can.
It
Yeah, but we
is.
can't, but you
Somebody
can't, I
should.
thought you can't do it until you actually open the meeting part, right?
Right,
Oh,
yeah, this is just an
Never
informal discussion
Yeah.
anyway. I will be in contact with him next week.
I noticed they still have that front stream marked as intermittent.
Yeah, he did have that marked as intermittent, and I spoke to him today about the stream that right by Glendale Road, and I said, if you read all of this stuff, you'll see that Mr. Gaudette, when he was building the track, he had all of the fill put right into the stream, trying to block it entirely. So, I don't know, but these are all yours to keep.
The question I got is, because it's so massive, I know we're gonna walk the property, but how many times do we want to walk the property? We know we have to hire a consultant on this. This is the big
Absolutely.
ones. So if we're bringing this to next meeting, should we just talk about hiring a consultant? Have the consultant and that person, their
I think that
person,
would be smart.
Yeah,
And then
figure it
the
out, and then we walk it
consultant
once.
Right.
could take us to the parts they consider critical
Yeah.
for us to
Yeah.
see.
I think you probably have to grab a couple of horses to look at all that property.
So
I haven't been on a horse since I was probably 12 years old.
this is a humongous project, so we either need to hire probably like SWCA or the other option is Mark Stinson is now doing consulting. So we could also hire him.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if we can hire someone before we've actually. Until
No, I
the
think
next
we
time
No,
would
I'm
we
saying
meet.
when we open the meeting.
Yeah,
We would probably have to wait.
Remember, like when we did the big project over on Martin Farms, we went out, we walked that whole thing. Then we hired the consultant,
We
which
walked the whole
changed all
thing.
kinds of things, and now we're out there
Yeah,
walking all over the
walking
place
around.
again, trying to figure out what's been changed, so I'd rather,
Yeah,
if we
Yeah.
can, just hire the
somebody
consultant up front.
Before the next meeting.
it would be
Well,
nice
Not at the
to
next meeting.
at least
figure it out.
contact a couple of people and see who's
Oh.
willing to do that big of a project.
mhm.
Yeah, 'cause it- 'cause
Are
it-
there people you prefer that we've had in before? There's GZA, there's SWCA, there's Ty and Bond, there's, like I said, Mark and David Crawford are now have their own company to do this.
I like the, what's that lady that came in and did,
Emily,
I think.
She's-
Stockman?
she works all by herself. I think it's too big
Oh,
a
no,
project
no,
for
the
her.
one that came in, she was bigger, I'm thinking SW.
The ones that did the ponds.
The ponds.
Yes,
They
that
were-
was SWCA.
They were very
good.
thorough on everything.
Yeah,
Rockwell's Pond?
Yeah,
Great Horse.
Great horse.
Great
ponds.
horse.
Oh,
The
yeah,
We
consultant.
had them as a second advisory because they're good at off-course stuff.
She's
SW, yeah.
SWC.
They have a lot of specialist people to. They were able to do a lot of things for us.
I mean, if we can, and I don't know how far in advance we can we call and ask them if they're interested in this?
Yeah.
Size project,
Are
so
they
then,
swamped or are they
so then,
available?
next meeting, when we open it, we can say, we know someone that's already interested in this, we're gonna move it on to a consultant now. The two of them can figure it out, check the flags and all that, and then, like you said, then walk us out to the,
The
critical
parts of
don't
it. I think that makes
necessarily
sense.
Do you have a set? About it, but do you have some, that you could send them that so that they'd have something to look at, so they could have something to either.
Oh,
accept it-
send,
It needs to be something that's online so that we can.
That they could accept or refuse against them, because if
Right.
you're just asking them, they say, well, without seeing something, it's hard to judge whether they want to.
yeah, well, I can talk to them and see what
I
they
mean, if
want.
you call them and say,
She
hey.
can say it's a
we got-
50-acre
we got
property with a
53
lot of
acre
complicated
lot with
wetlands.
This, we don't know
Several
if it's,
streams.
they've got stuff labeled as intermittent,
It's
we may not, I mean, that's where Martin Farm, be back
Yeah,
and forth
those
about
become
intermittent and not,
complicated.
so.
So,
So I'm saying we have someone come in and look at it ahead of time.
yeah,
This the same guy that we haven't had a meeting downstairs?
Yes. The younger guy.
Yeah, the younger
that
guy.
had the other-
Yeah,
Because we specifically told him that was a perennial.
Yeah.
At that time, right?
we did.
it had been determined at that time to be perennial,
Yeah.
so if they wanted it to be intermittent, they would have to prove it's intermittent.
It's still intermittent on his map.
Yes,
Mm,
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying we have the
We didn't do-
consultant come in and
Yeah,
go out and look at it all,
Get
instead of
out.
us walking it and,
yeah.
because we got into that Martin Farm thing where
yeah,
too much confusion happened.
Yeah,
I'd rather have them duke it out first and then.
Mhm.
yeah, I like your idea. That's good.
And you just gotta walk it once.
well, they're
Yeah.
good. I mean, I think that's one of the advantages of having a group. They can
Mm.
help each other figure out how to
Yeah,
address it.
that's a good idea.
You
Yeah,
might
I
find
can,
out
I
more.
can, call around, the beginning of next week and,
I have a couple of emails if you don't, for that.
Yeah.
Just to see
I'm sure
someone's
Cindy's got
interested in
some.
grabbing it.
Yeah, I think we need really good
Because then it'll
consultants
keep the
for this.
project moving too, so we're not.
Yeah.
Because if we open the meeting next month and then do exactly what we're doing now, it's another month until someone gets out there, or even, maybe even longer.
It'll turn into the.
well, this guy knew it was gonna take, this
Yeah.
guy knew it was gonna take a long time.
No, I don't, no, I get the length of
Yeah.
time, but I don't
Mm.
want it to
But
be.
it determining, for an ANRAD, it shouldn't take that long. We're just determining the borders, but they are complicated, so
They're very
they're
complicated.
gonna have to wait till,
Isn't that, I mean, I'm just saying.
yeah, I
Martin
think you're
Farms,
right.
That was a whole.
Let's get 'em
ANRAD
now.
that got-
Get it set
really
up with the consultant, that takes a while to get all that in order. Because then they have to send the money in and have it put in a special fund before they can start, so.
See, I drove by Martin Farms the other day and they're working away up there. I didn't go in, but you can
At
see it.
Borrego, you mean?
You can see them
Yeah,
You can see it from,
from the circle. You can see they've started to dig it.
oh,
okay,
I didn't walk up. I just did the circle.
all right.
you can, that's the same one.
And,
that we
and
talked about.
Heather's gonna be sending in the
The
Mount Vision one very soon,
Okay,
so you should get that.
So,
And,
yeah.
Rory Walker.
Which
you might-
circle? Potash or Martin Farm?
Potash.
Yes, okay,
Potash Hill
I get them
Lane.
confused.
yeah, Martin Farm, yeah.
I'm an old man. I can't.
Yeah. I
Well,
know
Martin
Gary-
Farm,
Yeah, I know.
It's off, yeah, potash.
It's
is
off
off
Martin
Yeah,
Farm.
yeah.
yeah.
But I confused the
Yeah.
streets.
Yeah, and besides there, if you could walk in from Martin Farms Road, if you came across the field,
Yeah,
there's a field there that goes to the other side of it. So it's easy to get, it's kind of takes up a lot of space. Okay, any other things for this month?
I mean, I don't know why this is in mine. I got something here about East Long.
yeah.
Oh, yes,
Solar.
There's going to be a proposal for that property for solar storage way at the back of the property.
Battery.
Um, yeah,
What they're looking to do is to put in a storage bank of batteries along the power line backed up to our new substation to take during low peak times, low usage
This is
times,
National
as you
Grid.
would know, charge up the batteries and then that high demand feed back into the,
So who's doing this? National Grid?
no, Strata Solar.
Okay.
It's a separate
But-
company
but
that's
this is-
just
but this-
doing,
No, those batteries, what it looks like is
yeah,
massive
house.
convex shipping containers, more
Yeah,
or less,
yeah.
doors and everything with massive air conditioner units.
Yeah.
And it's going to
A lot of
be
them.
very noisy. so
And
that's
one of the
actually-
first thing I brought up at the meeting was noise.
Yeah, I
I
was
sat
glad
in
you
on
had
the
brought up
meeting-
that as an issue, because
And
I
they said,
also-
oh, no, they said at the selectmen's meeting, it would be 60 decibels at 100 feet.
That's quite high. You know,
So
I would expect like 25 or 20 decibels at 100 feet.
feet. The thing that struck me, if you look at this property, the closest neighbors are not us, but East Long Meadow.
Yeah, it's
There's a-
on the line.
Big
Yeah,
circle.
but
Yeah,
I'm not worried about.
well, there's
the neighbors. I'm
also,
worried about wildlife and animals.
Oh, yeah.
That runs through there, that this annoying humming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
continuous
Yeah.
noise is gonna
the
happen.
Pulaski's
That's what I
house is
was
there
worried
too.
about, too.
Remember the big log cabin?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, ignoring them too.
That's halfway back on this
Yeah.
property.
But it's their property, right? They're the ones that are looking at it.
Well, she sold it, somebody else is
Well,
there
whoever
now,
owns it
who
now.
wasn't there when all the delineations were done and everything, so may not be aware of how much of it is wetlands.
Yeah, if this starts
Like
going, we're
most
gonna
of
need
it.
your expertise.
I'm
for
not sure where they're gonna put it. You know?
They said it'd be way toward the back, because they have to get as close as possible to the
Yeah,
substation.
but as you can see, that's all marsh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't see the point of putting it in marsh.
and that property
you
is
can
only a
I
possibility.
don't
It could be
think
any
you
one of
can.
the 2 or 3 properties that are
They're
butting
not
there.
under the power lines, but I can't, it just doesn't make any sense.
Pardon? They need to draw, this unit is convenient because the two
I
Companies
understand
line-
what they want. I understand why they're
Yeah.
doing it. I'm
the two
saying-
companies line,
Doing it on this property doesn't make any sense to me because we've been out there. We know how wet
Right.
it is.
but the problem is they need to be as close to their substation as possible.
That's-
Well, in
that's what
fact, I would suggest they move it the other direction
They wanna
towards
be-
the
The reason they
substation.
want
It's
to be as close
drier.
as possible, because it's cheap.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
I
it's very
understand. Oh,
expensive right
yeah.
now.
It's all money. It all
It's
comes
all
down to
money.
money.
But the other issue is that it's actually drier as you get closer to the substation.
Maybe
So-
those owners don't want to talk to them or something.
I'm
you know?
guessing. But anyway, I think it's certainly worth,
It's going to be a big deal.
it's
when
gonna
it
take some
comes up.
time. Yeah.
So this is just something coming down.
Something
Yeah,
coming down the pipe.
Yep.
Just so you kind of know what's out there. It's going to be a busy spring. We've got 2 solar things, one of which is huge. And Mount Vision will be simple. And the Hamden landfill is just closing up all of its issues.
And they're still trying to get the land titles solved.
Yeah, we did that vote, but I'm guessing that now it's back to Rose Crowley.
Yeah,
She's
it's
working on
legal.
language.
It's
We'll
illegal.
probably have to redo that vote with the new deed language. Which is, but
And then
that's not going to take us
you
any
said
big
their
time.
South Road has sold another piece. of
Oh,
property.
yes, Russ Cable, finally sold South Road.
So,
Yeah,
South Road, okay, to the left of where Ryan's property is, Ryan,
Ryan Morton.
Conway now.
yeah.
To the left of that, there's a road that goes up the hill really steeply and ends up on the top of the ridge.
Up to
Practically.
Mountain.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a 2,000-foot driveway.
But it looks like from the thing you sent, it's most of it's dry.
It was wet,
Wes's property?
Cable, it was wet going up the road.
Road,
We
yeah.
had-
But other
we had
than
a
that,
brook
the,
going
in
across
the
the
back,
road.
right. You got to get
Yeah.
by that. But once
It's
you're.
rocky up there, it's rocky, but it's also, it's a relatively narrow road, and my understanding is they want to widen it, which is a big issue.
Oh,
That means cutting into the mountain. And,
So just
and
an
it's
old
very,
dirt
very
road.
steep. It's not undoable. I mean, it
It
was
is a
sold as
dirt
a
road.
house lot, but
Yeah, I think Russ might have created that
Yeah, but it's the
originally.
farm road there.
I had a question for you on like that, for instance, that driveway, it's 2,000 feet going
Where
up.
are we talking about here?
Russ
Um,
Cables, it goes up
it goes
the
off
top
of
of
South
Manchog Mountain.
Road up towards Minnehaha Mountain. It's very steep.
Is it the one we walked to where they were pouring dirt illegally?
Well, it's near there. It's, that
It's
lot's
just
used
to the
up.
left of that.
Oh, okay.
And how wide does a driveway have to be for the, like fire trucks, ambulance?
My guess would be probably about around 14 feet wide, maybe.
So for some,
14 to 16.
Yeah, because that's another question for you as being a fireman. What kind of a road would they have to be sufficient for you
Well, I
guys?
mean, just think about all your regular stuff, all your delivery trucks
I
and
know,
everything else all need to drive up there. Nobody's dropping packages off the
no,
driveway.
and it's, I mean, it goes,
Yeah,
Yeah, but for, the UPS van to drive up is one thing. For you
No,
guys to
but
drive
your
your,
construction vehicles.
your-
get up there.
yeah, but the construction vehicle, they're going up before the road.
So we don't have to decide that. We just have to decide the wetlands part,
I
Yeah.
but
think maybe.
but
go
it
all the
is
way
an
down to
interesting
12 feet wide,
question.
I think.
the other question that I
I
had
don't know.
is, I noticed, Greg is gonna be at the meeting of the 22nd, but this meeting on the coming Tuesday, it lists Concom budget and
I had nothing to do with that.
oh, I do, I have
something
it,
else. I thought that you already went there with the budget.
I did.
until final.
I did, the selectmen just wanted it.
Yeah, so the question is, do I need to be there?
No.
It's just finalizing this part.
No, Bob Marco's already seen it, the advisory's already seen it. It's probably the smallest budget in town.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, there's really nothing on it.
So,
If they want me to, I mean, I don't really have to, because I've already gone over it with Bob, and then I went over it with the advisory. I gave it to Pam last week. I mean, office supplies, $550 for the year with printer ink, and then MACC membership
And then
was
salary.
$630.
I mean, if I show up, I can bring it, because somebody's got to show.
And then there's a salary. And then Greg's is the week after. It's the 22nd.
That's
Which is
that's the next
week.
meeting.
That's next meeting.
That's the
That's
next
This
meeting?
is the 16th.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
So
No,
Greg, are you comfortable going there alone or do you need company?
I can show up. It won't bother me.
I hate
can
to
show
send
up.
you there by yourself.
I can show up if I bring that
Okay,
and him. I can
Okay.
be the rep.
thank you, Ted. I will
You
accept.
do a
that
lot of
offer.
crap, so I can show up.
Thank you. All right.
I can do that.
All right.
It's easy, man.
That's the
What
11th.
what are they gonna ask me? Why I want?
They're gonna ask you basically what's your background and why you want to do it.
Yeah, they just want to meet you as a citizen.
Yeah, it's,
They don't remember meeting you, so.
And have you ever had trouble with the Conservation Commission before? That was a question that they
Is
asked
it-
me and
Oh,
I
everybody.
think it's always different.
yeah, have you ever been in a
Hot water.
hot water?
Yeah.
Being in the
Yeah.
water.
Not in jail, but you know, with a commissioner.
We discussed how we should approach, asking them to put in markers.
It's mostly they just want to
Good
meet.
for the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that this was here. I wasn't sure. if we
Yeah,
could
it's
talk
just so
about it.
you have, so you get to see what I wrote.
Okay.
That's what I wrote.
We thought we had it all done with Mr. Markle, but.
I haven't gotten any response, and
No,
if anybody's
and
up in
Greg was
that area,
sworn
you could
in,
drive up and see. if
last
it looks like
April
they put up.
Yeah,
any
21.
You were
silver
sworn in,
ears
right?
on.
By Eva?
By you?
Yeah,
I did
Yeah, I
offer
got
that
pushed.
somebody would meet them, to help show them
I don't know.
where
We're just
the
volunteers. we don't
surveyors
know.
need to be.
I just do what I'm told.
I figured that would be a short
Along the
meeting.
I just do what I'm told.
Yeah,
Other.
whenever they feel like they're ready to do it.
So I guess we're all set then?
All right,
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
all in favor? Oh, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. See you next month.
Oh, what was this reprimand letter?
Everybody got a copy of that. Andrew was
Talk
just
about-
asking.